So I just want to start out, if you think about all spiritual leaders, whoever that is in your mind, and you go back and you watch their behavior, you see in essence, almost like we just heard the song, they have trust, they have faith, they have belief in God, in the Creator, what have you. But I want us to understand Kabbalistically, it's not just faith and belief, we call it certainty. And I want to explain to you why that's a little different than just faith and belief. Because we're going to see that if consciousness is everything, it's important for us to gather, what does that mean? Yes, so we affirm consciousness is everything. We're raising our consciousness to see miracles. Why? Because our consciousness doesn't always see miracles. We're here in the Kabbalah Center to understand our consciousness creates reality. Reality, one of the things we say in Kabbalah 1, reality is not as it is, reality is as we are. So then our consciousness determines our reality. So don't look to your neighbors and don't look to anybody else and say, well, what if they're creating the same thing or different? Doesn't matter. We each create our own reality. Now, what gives us the power to do that is not us. We don't have, per se, personal power. We have the power of the Creator. We have the power of divinity. We have the power that brought about all the physical universe. That's when it says we are in the image and likeness of God. It means we have that power to create. So then how are we creating? According to our consciousness. And that's why you hear those things. If you wake up in the bad mood, you create bad for the day. You wake up in the good mood, you create good for the day. So we need to wake up this morning and understand we are creating reality according to our belief using the power of the Creator. And here's the first secret I'd like to share with you, or awareness. Not all of us believe that God is good. And that's what I want you to check. Doesn't mean you think God is bad. But I want for us this morning to realize our perception of the Creator is based on all of our lifetime hearing things not only where you went to worship or from your parents, but what you heard in school, what you heard on the news, what you heard from other people, etc. So how many of you have any form of chaos in your life? Any form? How many of you have no chaos? Okay, okay, great. We're going to see you afterwards, don't worry, okay. So if you think about it, then the chaos has to be some way our creation. And I want this morning to awake our consciousness to realize that if we have in our mind that sometimes God is jealous, sometimes God is angry, sometimes God is vengeful, then if we are created in the image and likeness of God, then sometimes we also will create those things in our life. Things to be revengeful for, things to be angry at, things to be jealous about. We will create them because our consciousness is everything. Not everybody is jealous over the same things. Not everybody's angry over the same things. So we have to understand this morning, for good, in a good way, that our thought and understanding about the Creator is mixed. Sometimes we think, okay, God is good, God is love, God is forgiving, God is tolerant. And then other times we think, yeah, but the Bible says God is angry, God is jealous, God is vengeful, etc. And that's why the Kabbalists say, don't take the Bible only literally. It means something more deep than that. But for us, the key is if we believe that we are in the image and likeness of God, then we're creating according to our belief. So this morning, right now, is an opportunity for us to change our belief about God. And it's a process. You have to work to keep changing. That's why every week we affirm the truth. Consciousness is everything. I'm seeing miracles everywhere. I commit myself to behave more like the light. So don't just wait for next Sunday, but all day, all week, keep reminding yourself of the truth. Yes, so you believe God is vengeful? Catch your consciousness. When during the day are you getting angry? So what allows you to get angry? Because everybody who walks in these doors has a God consciousness and wants to be more godlike. Otherwise you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't have been brought to the Kabbalah Center. So then check your consciousness. If you're getting angry somewhere in your life, check. Where do you believe God has behaved in an angry way? It could be personal. It could be something you read in the Bible. It could be something you see in the world. How many people are telling us, well, where's God? If God is all good, why is there chaos in the world? Why are people dying? Why is there trouble, etc.? Because it's not up to God. It's up to us. It's up to us. It's in our hands. We are the creator of our reality. So today we want to start shifting our consciousness, because certainty is not certainty in us, as we're going to see, it's certainty in the power of the Creator. And that's where I want to go first, because the point of what we're doing here is to change everybody's reality back to its original. The Kabbalah Center, one aspect of the mission of the center is to bring this wisdom and this understanding and this transformation to every human being on earth. Put us all on the same page of knowing with certainty the Creator already set out bliss for us. 100%. It's waiting for us. But we are the ones who have to make it manifest. It's been set out. It's our job to make it real in our lives. So then I want to start changing some of our ideas about what we think certainty is, because we've heard it in many ways. Positive thinking, creative visualization, all those types of things. But I want us to go to yet a higher level this morning. So when we talk about certainty, what are we talking about? We're not talking about willing things to happen. Kabbalistically, that's not certainty. So when people say, I'm going to will it to happen, I'm going to visualize it to happen, I'm going to just keep thinking it's going to happen, going to happen, going to happen, going to happen. What are we really saying then about the Creator? What are we relegating the Creator to be? Our butler, our valet. God, I need a car. Go get my car. God, I need a relationship. Go find my relationship. That's not God. That's not the Creator. The Creator is so much more. But we have to realize when we're thinking in those ways, we are deciding that God is our valet. So if God is your valet, then who's the boss? You are. I am. And therefore, in that consciousness, in that frame of thinking, why would I think the Creator would do anything I didn't tell it to do? So then how fair is it to me to say, well, God, why didn't you fix my life? Why aren't you fixing the world? If we've relegated God to be the butler or the valet or our servant in that way, then how can we expect it to do anything we haven't commanded it to do? Wake up. Smile, please. I know it's it's tough sometimes, but think of what it's doing. It's helping us to shift our consciousness so we don't have to wait. How many of you ever had something bad happen to you that down the line turned into good? How many ever had the opposite? Something you thought was great and wonderful, and then it turned rotten? All you have to do is think of past relationships. Right? In the beginning, they're marvelous. At the end, they don't always work out so well. So then we know, or we understand when we're objective, we can't just tell the universe what it should do for us now. Then the other thing is, second part, it's not seeing. And this may throw you off a little bit, but we'll get there. Certainty is not seeing the world half full. We often say that, right? Is the world half full, half empty? Is this half full, half empty? And we all want to say, yes, I'm an optimist, half full, half full, half full, half full. If you look at life half full, what are you missing? Half! How many of you want only half your good, half your health, half your happiness? Anybody in this room? Okay, good. Not even the wise guy over there. No, he's a really nice guy. Okay. You follow? No. So if we're only seeing half full, we're missing the other half. And that's not going to do us much good, is it? Try walking around. You could do it for a while with one eye covered. It's good up to one point, but at some point you're not going to see the depth. You're not going to see something coming from that side. You're going to miss out on something. So certainty is also not seeing the world half full. It's knowing that it's completely full. We just have to uncover the other half. We are not seeing it. Doesn't mean it's not there. And the third part of this is, certainty doesn't mean that you go out and you give something expecting something in return. Something in return. Something particular. How many times do we do that, though? We do something for other people, or we do something out there expecting that the universe is going to make our business better, that person's going to do something good for us. If we give them love, they'll give us love. If we do good for them, they'll do good for us. We do that. But then what have we relegated the universe to? How many of you ever went shopping? Great, nobody's raising their hand. It's Boca Raton. How many of you ever went shopping? Right? You go shopping. So what do? You expect. You go to the cashier, you give the cashier money, and you're expecting in return to walk out with your items. So when we act like that universally, we say, okay, I'll do good for this and I expect good back. Or I'll give this and then I expect this. We're just making the universe a business deal. That's not certainty either. It's a business deal. So God is not our valet. The universe is not a business deal. And there's no half empty. So we just wipe that out of our thinking. Okay. So then what is certainty? Next week. No, just kidding. Okay, okay, great. All right. So then what is certainty? So certainty, number one, is knowing that there is only one God. There's infinite light. The light of the Creator itself, is infinite, and there can only be one infinite thing. There can be no such thing as two gods, in whatever frame you look at it. So when people will say outside, they'll say, well, you know, there's the devil and there's God, and they're both fighting over the universe. But let me ask you, if they were equal, then what hope do we have? If they have equal power, what hope is there? It means there's just going to be eternal hell on earth, that we'll never be able to get rid of the chaos. But you can't have two equal powers. And like basically one of our more standard examples, you walk in a room, you turn on the light in a dark room, and what happens? The darkness disappears. So you know darkness cannot be equal to light, because there's nowhere on earth you can bring darkness into light. You can bring light into darkness, but not darkness into light. So certainty is understanding there is that only one power, bless you, one infinite light, and it's waiting for us to be used. And therefore, why do we have the appearance of light and darkness and good and bad and all these things? It's to give us free will. If we didn't have free will, we would lose appreciation for life. The things we tend to appreciate the most are the things we've struggled the most for. The things that come easy, we may enjoy them for a while, but after a while they'll tend to disappear, or the joy of them will disappear. So if you make an effort to achieve something, you'll tend to have more satisfaction and more joy from it. And therefore we have to have an illusion of two powers or two forces, or illusion and reality, or the half full or the half empty. But we're here this morning to understand, no, certainty is it's all good. All good. But we don't know how it's going to work out. That's the difference. It's not up to us. Ours is just to keep doing, as we're going to get to. Free will. The second part is knowing that everything is full and it's up to me to change. It's up to me to uncover the second part. If I'm seeing a half empty anywhere in life, if I'm seeing something that doesn't look pure and perfect, then I know we go back to the first one. The light is everywhere. So if I'm not seeing the light, it's because I haven't uncovered it. Amazing discoveries. We're in the 21st century. Science. Science discovered anything recently that hasn't been discovered in the last 200, 300, 400 years? Yeah. Everyone's not sure now. Great. Right? They did discover, 300 years ago, do we have cars and airplanes and fax machines and computers and all of that? No. So what did science do? So 300 years ago, there were no computers. Did computers exist scientifically? Potentially, absolutely. So it took science to uncover the laws of nature, the laws of physical material, etc., to be able to put computers, fax machines, airplanes, etc., together. But they were always there. So it wasn't that it was half full and half empty. It's always and will always be full. It's just up to us to uncover the part that doesn't look it. So wherever we see in our life something that's not pure and perfect, something that's not true, love, kindness, compassion, and goodness, it's because we didn't uncover it yet. But it's there. And that's so important when we think of ourselves also. Because we often tend to look at ourselves and say, oh, you're not so good at this, and you're not so good at that, and you have this bad habit and these bad behaviors. That may be true, but it's only temporary. Like darkness. The moment you turn on the light, what happens to the bad? Goes away. So then our job is, yes, knowing that everything is full and everything is there for our good. It's just up to us to now reveal it, to see it, to perceive it, and to continue to act that way, which is basically the third part. I'll tell you a quick story. I had a student years ago, because remember, it's not our timing. It's up to the universe. So a student years ago who was looking for a house that they could not only live in, but also work out of. So they're doing all their Kabbalistic work, they're doing their meditation, they're scanning, etc., and they find an ideal house. They put an offer on the house. They're sure it's going to work out because it's ideal. Doesn't work out. Somebody else made a different offer, obviously a better offer, and the other offer was taken. So fortunately for these students, they began to understand the idea of certainty. Certainty is not, like we said, a business deal. I'll do this, you'll do this, right? Certainty is not willing things to happen because you don't know what's going to end up in the long run. And so what happened in the long run, they found out because they kept working. That was their spiritual growth, not to fall into sadness or depression or frustration because they didn't get the house. What they found out later, a few months later, was that the title was not clear on the house. So had they put in their down payment, which was all their life savings, they would have been embroiled in a lot of legal wrangling, and they would have been stuck. And then what came down the line wouldn't have come down the line because they wouldn't have been in the running for it. So sometimes we don't know. Just to remind you, I had a student years ago fired from a job, good or bad. Yeah, it depends. See, now you're learning. It's not half full, it's not half empty. In this case, at first they thought it was bad, and then they started to say, no. We're learning in Kabbalah, everything is good, everything is good, everything is good. They happen to have been fired on a Thursday from their job. By Tuesday, it was the most miraculous thing that ever happened to them. Because on Thursday, September 6th, 2001, they were fired from their job in the World Trade Center. By Tuesday, September 11th, best thing ever happened to them. So certainty is knowing that it's always good. Not sometimes yes, sometimes not. But we, again, have to uncover what it is. We have to decide it is good. There's a great Kabbalistic story, and it goes on and on and on, but it's basically the same type of thing. This one Kabbalist, his name was called Rabbi Nachman Gamzu, right? Gamzu L'Tova. Everybody called him also, this is also good. Because that's what he would say, no matter what happened to him. This is also good, this is also good, this is also good, this is also good. So whatever happened, so without giving you the whole details of the story, but basically, because he was so innocent and naive, he was given treasure to take from one city to the king for taxes. Because they knew he wasn't going to steal it. But as the story goes, he goes, and because he's so innocent and everything was just good around him, he basically told thieves he was holding all this gold. They stole it from him. They put dirt in its place. He goes to the king. He offers the treasure, and now it's dirt. So the king says, okay, off with your head. I mean, what kind of joke is this? In jail, he's saying, this is also for good. This is also for good. This is also for good. So what happens? As it comes out, they say, and this is just to show you how far the universe will go for us if we're in the right consciousness. The prophet Elijah came to the king in human form and said, you know what? That dirt that this poor man gave you is actually magical dust. And you know this war that you're having with this country over here, if you throw up this dust into the air, it will kill all their soldiers. And you'll win the war. So he says, nothing to lose. So sure enough, he picks up the dirt, he throws it, and that's it. The war is won. So now he takes Gamzu L'Tova, this Kabbalist, he takes him out of jail, he rewards him, anything you want. He gives him more of the gold than he brought originally. He says, now go home and take this back to your city, because look what you've done. You helped me win this war and stop all the fighting, etc. So of course, on the way back, what happens? He meets the thieves again. So the thieves see him and say, wait a second, how come you're alive? You're supposed to be dead. He says, no, and he tells them the whole story. I had this magical dust and this. So the thieves thinking, we know where that dirt came from. We're going to go get some more dirt and we're going to take it to the king and we're going to be rewarded royally. So they leave him to go home and you can gather the rest of the story. Of course, it doesn't work out well for the thieves because the dirt wasn't really magical. Okay? But the key is for us to understand the consciousness of certainty, that it's all good and always good and will, in the long run, turn good, will always work that way. Because we've heard about that idea, the law of cause and effect. That's certainty. There is cause and effect. You know, recently they've tried to tout this idea of the law of attraction. And I'm all for it. But we need to understand it in its total detail. The law of attraction just means cause and effect. Kabbalistic certainty is knowing there is cause and effect. So then the more we put good into the cause, the more the effect will turn good. The issue is not in our timing. It's knowing with certainty you just keep planting seeds, and planting seeds until it grows. So when have we ever not created with the law of attraction, the law of cause and effect? Since the Big Bang, the law of cause and effect has been in existence. And therefore, everything happens cause and effect. What we're here to understand this morning is, one, and this is a part of your spiritual growth, to accept the fact that if things haven't gone well, I have a hand in that causation also. Cause and effect doesn't only work when I do good things and good things happen. What if I behave out of fear or anger? Does the universe just bring back happiness and joy? No. If it's cause and effect, it's cause and effect. But I won't always see it right away. It may take a week, a month, a year down the line, and I'll see the effect. Sometimes a farmer, it's nice to go back to nature because nature just works automatically. So we can learn a lot from nature. Sometimes you plant a seed in the ground of a flower, you'll see the flower in a few weeks. You put an apple seed in the ground, you won't see an apple for 3 years. Imagine the farmer planting the apple seed going, well, God, I put the apple seed in the ground, where's my apple? 1 week goes by, 2 weeks goes by, 3 weeks go by. Looking at the ground, where's my apple? Where's my tree? What's going on here? Easy then to understand how people stop believing. Because if we think the world is only half full, or we think that it only works on the good side and sort of edits out my bad, then at some point down the line, we're not going to believe anymore. And then we're just stuck with chaos over and over and over again. But certainty is knowing it is all good. Had a student recently, car accident. Now you're getting the gist of it, good or bad. That's a new answer. Okay, great. Depends on the lawyer. Okay. In their case, of course, at first we think a car accident bad. And the medics came or whatever, and they were trying to say they were good, felt okay, nothing happened, it was all right. You know, fender bender, no big deal. And the medic said, no, you have to go get checked. Because they got checked, and they took the x-rays and all the scans, whatever it was, they found out that the beginnings of brain cancer. So the doctors were able to get rid of it from the beginning. So had the car accident not been there, the person could have died of brain cancer. So that's why certainty is not giving in to the illusion. Certainty doesn't mean when I see good, it means it's good. Certainty is seeing with my spiritual eyes that everything is good, but maybe I don't see it right now. How do I know what it's going to be in a month or 3 months? Or how do I know what lesson it's teaching me? The Creator created us as winners. I spoke yesterday in an event we had here also. You know, it's coming up and I used it because it's right here. You know, about a month we're going to have the Super Bowl. I was just checking who's smiling, who's not. Okay. Yeah, who's going, oh God, the Super Bowl? And going, yeah, the Super Bowl, right? Half full or half empty? Okay, so the Super Bowl's coming. Whichever teams, and I'm not here to tell you one or the other, but whichever teams are in the Super Bowl, what did they have to overcome to get to the Super Bowl? Opponents, right? They had to go through the 16 games of the season and win more than the other teams. They had to go through postseason and keep winning and winning and winning. But as you keep winning, what happens to the opposing teams? Do they get weaker and weaker, or they get stronger and stronger? Stronger. The Creator created us as winners. We have 100% light inside of us. But for us to feel the true joy and victory of that Super Bowl of life, then we have to face challenges that make us grow. Because I'm sure each of these teams who are now in postseason, I'm sure they don't say, well, we already achieved it, we're here in postseason, and they stop training. Yes or no? Did they stop practicing? Did they stop coming up with new plays or understanding their opponent better or anything like that? No, they work harder. So why shouldn't we spiritually do the same thing? If we're growing spiritually, then we need to realize, yes, we are winners. We are all going to, without a doubt, win the Super Bowl of life. We are all going to be those champions because that's the only thing the Creator created, pure and perfect beings of light. But we're going to have to go through those games. We're going to have to deal with the challenges. And the challenges are not always going to get easier. But the part that we have to remember is just like these athletes. As they train, they also get stronger to face a stronger opponent. They also don't stay where they were in the season, in postseason. They're better players postseason because they've trained and they've practiced and they've worked more. So also, as we're facing a higher opponent, we're also stronger people. We're also more light beings. We've created or manifested more of our potential. So yes, it is important to keep in our mind, we are winners. That's the only thing the Creator could create. Winners in life. But we are the ones who have to keep going. We have to never give up and never give up and never give up. But keep understanding the universe is on our side and the universe is pushing us and helping us to fight. Okay. I don't know, that was strange. Okay. So we have to have certainty. We are winners, and just to remind you, Moses, you all heard of Moses, right? Yeah, holy Moses. Okay. Moses led us, because we are the Israelites, out of the bondage called Egypt. He had to go to Pharaoh. He had to tell Pharaoh, let my people go. Pharaoh said, oh, that's what you want? You want me just to let them go? I'm going to make the word harder for them. Did Moses give up? No. Moses kept going. He kept going back to God. Okay, God, what do I do now? God told him what to do. And then he just went and did it. That's certainty. But I wanted to bring out the point. Moses had already gone through 2/3 of his life. We know he left the world at 120. At 80 years old, he went out to face Pharaoh, to deal with the 10 plagues, to stand up to all of the enemies and all of the negativity and all of the illusion at 80. So if we, let's say, some people think they could live maybe till 90, so then 60 would be basically when Moses just got started. So I want us to understand, yes, we are winners. Don't let that other side of your brain say, well, maybe if I'd started 10 years ago or 5 years ago or 20 years ago or 30 years ago, maybe I could have done it. But at this stage of life, can't happen. No, it's not up to us, remember? It's not our personal power. It's the power of the Creator's light, an infinite power of creation that we are channeling. And that we can change in 1 microsecond. If we'll just open our consciousness, and we will work with that certainty. No matter what, I'm going to behave like the light. No matter what happens, I'm going to be loving and kind and compassionate and forgiving and tolerant. Doesn't mean be foolish, because I know that's what some of you are hearing. Doesn't mean if you know a kleptomaniac to invite them to your house and put your most valuable things right in the front door so that they can slip out with them. That's foolishness. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about certainty, that as I act like the light, as I will be loving and kind, long term it will come back, and at the same time, the Creator will give me the wisdom. It will be awakened inside of me to be aware, you know what, this person's a kleptomaniac. This person is an angry person. This person misbehaves in a certain way. So I still have to be loving and kind towards them, but it doesn't mean I have to have them over at my house and I have to invite them for coffee and I have to show them all my valuables or what have you. But it's certainty that as I behave more loving, more kind, more generous, more tolerant, that the universe is going to work it out. But maybe along the way I have to face that opponent. Maybe I have to face that stronger opposition, which will just make me that much stronger. So we are here to understand today, yes, we are winners. God only creates winners. And our job is to unite with all the other winners around us, all the other winners that we have in life, all the other people in all the other centers who are learning this same type of thing. Because as we will gather more and more of us, the greater mass of light beings will reveal enough light in the world that the dark side of things that people are seeing out there will also disappear, as darkness does in the face of light. So when we're all saying here, yes, what's winning look like? Heaven on earth. What's winning look like? Peace on earth. What does heaven look like? Winning look like when I look in my mirror and I see a winner. Not a loser. I see a winner because that's all God created. And then my job is just to uncover the other parts of me. And that's why we build spiritual communities here. Because none of us can do it alone. We can't do it without the power of the Creator, and we can't do it without the help of each other. Because when God created us in the upper worlds, in the endless world it's called, He created us as one. And therefore, to have heaven on earth, we also have to be united as one. Not the same, but as one. And that's why the more we gather people like this, spiritual Sundays, in the classes, in the centers around the world, then the more people who are shining their light and supporting each other, the brighter the light, the faster the darkness goes away, and the more quickly everyone will believe that they are a winner. And winners are not the type of people to do negative things to other people. So when we want to stop the negativity of the world, which is in our hands, all we have to do is keep reminding ourselves, consciousness is everything. I am a winner. I am a pure and perfect being of light. And keep reminding myself that and take away the parts that aren't that. And then as I unite here in the Kabbalah Center of Boca with all the other centers around the world and all like-minded people, then there's no reason why, as the prophets say in a microsecond, there's no reason why we can't see peace and harmony on earth the same way that instantaneously light will take away darkness, and all your hopes and all your dreams and all that which is inside of you, the real joy and the happiness that you can all imagine, the heaven on earth and the peace and the harmony that we all have in our heart's mind, in our soul's consciousness, can take place starting now, because we are all winners. God bless.